So today I'm going to do a little video on how to do an afterthought bobble on one of my little possum car mirror charms. So stay tuned. Okay, so today we're going to see how to do an afterthought bobble on an amigurumi or a toy. If you're doing a pattern that calls for a bobble for a foot, an ear, some spikes, anything like that, and yours just does not seem to ever line up correctly because maybe your tension is different than the pattern creators, this is a good way to make sure that all your bobbles line up perfectly where you want them to. And you just make note in the pattern of where the bobbles originally should go, what row. If you can't count back, if you're not great at that yet, you can always place a stitch marker in that row and go back to it later. These are done after the toy is completely finished off, closed up, and ready to go. So this is what an afterthought bobble looks like. You can see that it's a lot more pronounced than one that is done while the row is being made. Stands up quite a bit taller, but it is very secure. It's not going to come out of there. It's not going to come out with a wash. It's not going to be pulled out. If they pull this out, they're going to pull the whole toy apart. So it's perfectly safe, perfectly fine. This is for a car charm, so this is not going to a child anyway. So that's why I use these little kawaii safety eyes. So let's get started. I'll show you how to do this. It's super simple. And like I said, it's very easy to line up and make sure that they look just like you want them to look. So I've already put the first one in just so you see what it looks like when it's completely finished. And I want these to be about 2 or 3 stitches apart. So I want my other one to go right here. If your pattern maybe called for it a little bit closer and you don't like that, you want it a little bit farther out, you know, this is where this works perfectly. You have complete discretion at where you place your afterthought bobbles. So sorry for the lighting. It's very rainy here. We are going through some severe weather with the hurricane. So just try to make the best of it today. So you grab you some yarn. Today I'm using loops and threads, skinny chenille for these smaller little amigurumis that I'm doing. You just find your stitch that you want to bobble in, place your hook in, place your yarn over the hook and pull it through. And then after you get your yarn pulled through, we're going to do a double crochet bobble. So you're going to chain 2. You're going to yarn over, go back into that same stitch. And I like to catch the tail here. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, back in the same stitch, catch the yarn again. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over. Now we've got 3 loops on the hook. You're going to pull through all 3 loops. Now we're finished with our bobble. We go back into the stitch, grab the yarn, and do a slip stitch to finish it off. And then you can either cut or break the yarn, pull it through. And now see, it looks kind of wonky here. If you just take both ends of your tails and pull them, it goes right down into that, just like that. So now you have 1 stitch that you've worked through. So you thread your yarn on your yarn needle. Go back into that stitch and out the other side where the other end is, just like that. Tie that off into a knot. I usually tie it 2 or 3 times just to make sure it's not going to come loose. You go left over right, such and such. Rethread your needle again. Well, maybe. And then go back into that stitch, tuck it into the body somewhere, just like that. Take your scissors, snip it off, tuck those little tails back down in the body. And there you have your next afterthought bobble. Okay, and then I'll do 2 more on the back and complete him off and send him on his way. Hope that helped. Thanks.